Hey, party people, what is up? What is up? Folks, we are going to talk a little bit about Waven and the FAQ they put up regarding the reset and the whole redoing things, all that stuff. If you're not aware, the game is not doing so hot. So, in an effort to kind of reinvitalize it, reinvigorate it, they want to do some major changes to the game, which means a lot of things are going to get set back to square one. It is what it is. And this goes to show too that some people might not want to hear this, but playing games, investing your time into games, is not an investment of any sort of kind. And this is a harsh kind of slap in the face for some people, because I have seen kind of mixed feelings about these. Some people understand it, some people don't. But the truth of the matter is the moment you spend any time in the game, or you spend any money in the game, it's gone. Like, you're not getting that stuff back. Enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy your time with the game. Have fun with it and stuff like that. But again, this is a big kind of like a reminder showing that these games can go away any second, and it's outside the control of the players or the fans and stuff like that, right? If you come from Dofus Touch, that game's it's going out to 10 years. PC Dofus 20 years, right? Those games could be shut down with a snap of a finger, right? And comma files for bankruptcy. It's done. It's game over. Guess what? You lose everything. You lose everything. Luckily, they didn't go in that direction here, because they could have easily been like, "Oh, guys, this isn't working out. We're canceling the project. We're not moving forward with it." Instead, they are gonna, give it another shot. And obviously, if it doesn't work, I think that's it for Waven. And we're gonna go through the details here. But yeah, keep that in mind, guys. Just have fun with the games. Don't treat them as investments, because they're not, right? Just think about it. How are you supposed to get compensated for the time you spent, right? Are they going to pay you out? No, they're not. So I do want to start off with that, but let's see what they got to say here. A new era is about to dawn for Waven, and with it, there will be a major progress reset. Before that happens, we're explaining everything simply and openly. Why a reset? With the arrival of major changes in the game, this reset is needed to ensure a healthier and more balanced experience that is better prepared to welcome the upcoming new content and features. Wave's overall balance is going to undergo a structural change, and is therefore crucial that accounts be wiped clean. Technically, Waven was still in beta, so it's been a beta for over a year now, right? Something around there. So changes like this were to be expected, though a big change like this wasn't necessarily in the books. This is mainly due to the performance of the game, and its failure to captivate and keep a sustainable player base. So obviously, these guys didn't go in with the intent to like resetting, right? Ideally, this would have been all worked out. This would have worked out. The game would have been in a more healthy situation with a nice player base, ideally a growing player base. But unfortunately, it went the other way. Don't worry, everything you've acquired that has lasting value will be kept or refunded. Which is, they're doing as much as they can, right? Like I said, like, how are they supposed to refund literal time back to you? What will be reset? The reset concerns, above all, everything related to your in-game progress. World chapters, quest points, first-time rewards, and progress in the story mode. Characters, items, spells, companions, equipment, chests, etc. Soft currency, commas, island tokens, whack food fragments, season tickets, runes, etc. Guilds, cosmetic items earned through account progress, boats, prisms. That's all to be expected, right? Pretty much a lot of components or aspects of the game. What will be kept? Some elements will be maintained because they are linked to purchases or exceptional events. Cosmetic items purchased with the gems or refunded if they are not compatible with the new version of the game, such as guild haven skills. Okay, like I said, they're doing the best they can with what they have, right? Um, this situation sucks for Ankama, the Waven team, and it sucks for everybody. It just unfortunately the game failed, uh, to connect with the player base, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit too. Cosmetic items won through community events, trophies, character customizations, comfort elements. I don't know, might be a mistranslation there. Gameplay comfort elements. Character slot, deck slot. Oh, okay, like little expansions. Okay, I see what they mean. Character slots, deck slots, etc. All refunded if they cannot be kept. Your gems, both bought and earned. And this is cool. Like honestly, they could have been like, screw you. They could have put like the jerk card and be like, screw you. It is what it is. But they are trying to facilitate this as much as they can. They'll refund people if they can, wherever they can. So it's good to know. At the end of the day, it is people working on Waven. We all want to see the game succeed. So it is what it is. What will be refunded automatically? We will refund everything that couldn't be kept and pertains to purchases or remove features. Guild Heaven skins, shop packs containing gameplay elements. The automatic refund is separate from the future compensations, which will be communicated later. Useful info. Most of the elements that will be kept or refunded will be sent via an in-game message. You'll need to open the message and recover the contents to activate the elements in your account. Actually, let me read this before I ask a question here. A few important things. The contents of the message are not transferable to another account or another server. This message will not have an expiration date. However, we reserve the right to force automatic recovery if it's content on your account. When will the reset happen? The complete reset will happen when version 1.0 of Waven launches. It will be automatic and transparent. No prior action will be required of you. You will, however, need to recover the kept elements from your in-game message. So one thing that's I'm a little confused here is like when they talk about refunds and stuff like that, are they talking about like monetary refunds? That's something that's not very clear here. Like, if you spent $10 on this feature or this item, are they gonna refund you this $10? Are they gonna give you like credit? I don't know. It's hard to say. Let's see. Okay. Any questions? We've tried to be as exhaustive and transparent as possible, but you may still have questions. Post your questions in the comments below this FAQ. We'll answer them as they are posted and complete this article so that everyone can find the answers in their questions. Okay. And then here I got a response from one of the people working on the team. Ahoy, castaways. Our project release date is set for December 2025 if all goes well, or in 2026 if needed. Yeah, I would take that with a grain of salt. And let's read the comments here before we kind of do a little bit of a deep dive discussion here, just a little bit. I would just expect the release of Waven 1.0. Okay. Don't worry. Okay, this is a response to the quote. I don't like the implication that the hours and hours of time spent on the game and progression has no lasting value to you people. I spoke about this at the beginning. It's the thing is it's hard, right? It's hard to would the word be solidify? that aspect, right, of you spending time to the game, right? And that's why I said, like, whatever time you spent doing things, life in general, right? It's gone, right? You can't refund time. You literally can't. Sure, I think they're working on stuff to kind of like offset this a little bit, but it's not going to be 1-to-1, right? Um, if Weapon here, right, spent 10,000 hours into the game and he's going to lose everything, like how do you refund that, right? So, hello, I have a guild currently. It's at level 30 and I have max every equipment, companion, and probably spell as well. I have bought me 2 battle passes and I know they were just little insignificant contributions of me to the game. The game, and it's probably especially my QP, I think it's quest points, I think that's what that means. In my opinion, the most difficult part of the game to obtain, which is currently at 20,000. Yeah, so people, even though, Waven didn't really exactly blow the gates out of the water, or however that saying goes, there were some really dedicated people who were playing the game. 20K, some of those achievements were just a grind fest, but yeah, some people were invested into the world and everything. Fortunately, it just wasn't enough in terms of like the amount of people being that invested into the game, which is currently at 20,000 points, are so sentimental. In my personal opinion, reset everything to 0 will not be a very big deal. That's not important to me because I can re-level up them later, but you can't bring back an old story. Thus, in Waven 1.0, can you please at least consider give players like me something like a badge, or probably a very unique skin compensation, which nobody will ever be able to buy or obtain? No. Just for pride and bragging. It will be very important to players like me. Yo, shout out to David Chen. This guy sounds very reasonable, and what he's asking for sounds very reasonable as well, right? Yeah, sure. Like I said, Uncommon can refund you the time you spent there, your 20,000 points, right? But I think giving a little kind of like, appreciation, kind of like some sort of like ambassador stuff to these players, I'm totally on board on that. And I think they would be too. So, shout out to David Chen. Other suggestions? Can you please enable non-alphabet letters input like Chinese, Japanese, etc.? I'm from Asia and I love to be able to type in the language I like to use. And some player base from East, Southeast Asia type speak in this language. Consider enabling. You'll get a huge boost player base. I would agree too. Yeah. David Chen's cooking. And cooking. This guy, RBX and Y. Okay, but when the reset will happen? Are we talking about September as planned? And they're supposed to hear their answer. No battle passes, considering that they contain whack fragments or tickets, will be refunded. No battle passes. That is a good question. This is just admitting that the game was pay to win. Was it pay to win? I don't know. Maybe Wafu fragments. Did I ever use those? I don't know. This is a little bit on my scope. Again, I played the game casually. I was just a casual fan of it, even though I did enjoy it very well, and obviously I'm making content for it. But if all goes well with new class, will the new race class be in 1.0, or are they still very to be announced? That's a good question. Will a beta still take place in September? How often will you update us on progress of this new version? We want to see to believe. If you give us nothing for 4 to 8 months, the project will be forgotten. So the last time we talked about the reset, right? They were planning to implement this stuff in September, which I don't know if I could pull it up here. Let me see, logbook maybe? News. I really hate how they do this. News, like devlog updates is news. Okay. It was on Common Live they did. Yeah. This will look cool though. But yeah, so the issue is, and why I would say take this date with a grain of salt. It's like Okay, so the Waven we currently now the beta Waven that we currently have right now, it took them a year of something, a year and something for them to realize, yo, this isn't working out, right? And that's with the game not officially being going gold, right? It was never the 1.0 version, right? So it took them over a year and a half to do realize, and now they want to go September, October, November. They want to go 3 months with this new version for the game to go gold. That's a little. That's a little bit. That's such a little bit of time for 3 months to like test out this new version. Um, the thing is like, okay, the thing you gotta ask yourself, and a dev team has to ask yourself, like, okay, why didn't this work out? Why didn't original alpha Waven work out, right? And they did point out a lot of the issues here. That it pretty much it didn't attract enough people into the game. Over complex game rules, I think Waven was, out of the three games they have, was like the least complex game. It was so streamlined. It was so accessible. It was so you could just jump in there and like understand the game mechanics and what the game wanted to do. Um, I don't think that was the issue at all. I think that was a big plus for it, because too many systems piled on systems. Like, what are they talking about? Like one thing I like personally, I like about Wave, it was so simplistic. It was straight to the point. It was all about the combat. Sure, there wasn't too much depth to it, but it wasn't because it wasn't simple. It's just simply because there wasn't much outside of the scope. Right, there isn't much to do. Um, Poor retention. So a lot of the issues I see that what they ran into was like, yeah, retention. It's like people were able to kind of blow. I wouldn't say blow through the game. Uh, there wasn't enough depth and breadth of the game to keep people occupied. And I think that was the biggest issue, and I think that's the biggest thing they have to address. Uh, is content, content, right? Um, this is again this is competing with Dofus. This is competing with Wakfu. This is competing with Dofus Touch. It's competing with other games, right? What is the unique thing that Waven is bringing to people's table, right? Why are people going to play Waven over Dofus, over Wakfu? I think that's the answer they need to they need to that's the question they need to answer, because I think the game was doing a lot of things right. It was accessible, it was simple, um, it looks cool, it had crossplay. You could play on your phone, you could play on a PC. It was very polished. It has the voice acting, the music. I listened to the original soundtrack a lot. The game had a lot going for itself, right? But in terms of like stuff to do and like the levels of depth, it wasn't there. At the same time, too, I think there was a big misconception, or there was a big misdirection when it came to Waven. Because Waven, on the surface, it appears like an MMO, which it wasn't. And I think that put off a lot of people too, where they realize like what, like, oh, you can't really chat with other people, right? Right. The whole social like elements that would make an MMO just weren't there, and that kind of threw off people. It's like, what is this? Is this just like some weird thing? Because people would come in with the expectation like this was like the new MMO. This was the big shiny new MMO that Ankama's making, right? And it wasn't that. It wasn't. Um, it was turn-based RPG with like multiplayer. That's what it was. Um, a lack of clear objectives. People will start playing Waven, but why stay? Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? The game doesn't provide enough guidance. The short, medium, long-term objectives. Yeah, and that too. I mean, it felt very beta-ish. It felt like it was still, and I talked about these in my previous videos and maybe my Let's Play video, where it still felt like it was trying to find its footing. And I'm sure a lot of people kind of felt that too, where it didn't really have an identity in the sense of like, okay, where does it fit? What niche is it serving, right? Obviously, you have Dofus. It's like your kind of like MMO game. You have Wakfu, where like it's people who like are a little bit more casual. I would say I might be misspeaking here. I'm not too familiar with Wakfu, but Wakfu seems like it's just a little bit hard for me to talk because I'm not too familiar with Wakfu. Because I know Wakfu is complex, right? Wakfu has its own complexity that is different from Dofus, but like, what makes a person play Wakfu over Dofus or Dofus over Wakfu, right? Obviously, Wakfu has the whole entertainment aspect of it, like the anime and those like characters, like those unique characters, like the what's the little kid name, the little Iliotrove. I'm blanking out. It's the Brotherhood of the Tofu, right? Those characters, right? Some people might play Wakfu because I'm Amelia, right? Or these characters, right? But then it's at the same time too. It's like it's supposed to be, and this is my thing. Why I'm so hesitant about this too, because I did have high hopes for the game. Is that they really need to like create an identity here. I know they have this whole card thing here, where you build your decks and you're kind of playing like a TCG, but it never really felt like that either. It was weird. But then again, it was beta. It was beta, and beta is for testing to see how stuff works out. Unfortunately, the market rejected Waven, right? There's just not enough people interested in the game to keep it afloat in a sustainable manner. Maybe, and again, whatever they settle on the change they're probably working on now, it's hard to pivot. But maybe lean more into like the Hearthstone, the Magic the Gathering, Pokemon TCG aspect of like card game building. I know back in the day I used to play what's like the Kingdom Hearts Forgotten Memory. It was on the Game Boy, right? It had this whole deck building system, which was super cool. Like maybe make this like the main aspect that people come in, like the collectible. Maybe it's a clash of the Dofus MMO design philosophy clash with Cross Mega, right? That would be so cool, right? It's like those old school Yu-Gi-Oh games where like it's like adventure mode with the card game. That might be a direction they're heading to. What else? I mean, they did talk about that here. We don't want a punitive simplification, but rather a clear and more fun simplification. I think the game was fun, right? The game was fun. Like, this looks fun and everything. You know what's not fun? The map being the same thing over and over again. The constant... It felt like arcade mode. Like, you're just fighting the same enemies. Oh, these are the same guys. They're just a different color. They're just a little stronger, right? It was weird. I do feel like the game did lack a lot of cohesiveness in terms of like the direction, what it wanted to do. They had a bunch of cool ideas that never kind of like on its own just never had enough substance, and it just fell apart. It just fell apart, which I'm a little hesitant for them going into 1.0 so soon. Like this looks cool, but again, look at it's all just square. Squares are boring. Co-op wave fights, sure. Asynchronous. This was cool. I did talk about how this was cool in my previous video. More features like that would be cool. And I bring it all back to like, okay, why are people gonna play this, right? And Ankama has this tendency where they kind of like step on their own toes. You know, they did it with, Dofus to Wakfu, Dofus Touch, and now Waven, right? Like, why people are gonna play this, right? Because if it's an MMO, people are not gonna play more than one MMO at a time. Newsflash: playing an MMO requires a lot of time and dedication, let alone playing two, right? What kind of audience are you trying to attract with this? I think there was a big oversight with thinking like, oh, it's the same people who play Dofus and Waven or Wakfu could play Waven. That wasn't the case. Those people, the game didn't resonate with that crowd, right? Are you trying to go after the TCG people, the Pokemon Pocket people? I don't know. I don't know. So the point of the point of the video, and my kind of the point I kind of want to leave you guys off with, is that, despite them doing all this, despite them trying to address these issues, and to kind of get the game back up and running again, it's like this might be fall apart again too, right? So be wary about, this new iteration. The beta goes live supposedly September, right? Be wary about investing too much into it, because it might be, maybe the market just doesn't have room for another tactical MMO like this, right? It might just come to that where like, you got Dofus, you got Wakfu, you got Dofus Touch. You already capped out your audience. Like there's no more people interested in these type of games. That might be it, right? So even though I've expressed a lot of hope and a lot of like confidence in Waven, it was a little bit jarring seeing the state of the game. Though I am grateful that they were kind of open about this and they talk about this like, hey, you know what? The game's not doing too hot, right? I'm glad they're giving it another shot. And obviously I do hope it works out for them. But in the case it doesn't, don't say I didn't warn you. And what's that saying goes? Once you fool me, shame on me. Twice, something like that, right? So, just be careful, guys. Just have fun with it and everything like that. But until and I've talked about this in Dofus Touch, like a sign of a good game, a sign of a well-designed game, is where people talk about it, people tell their friends about it, people want to play it because it's a good game, right? Word of mouth. It has good word of mouth. But yeah, I guess that's all I got to say. I will maybe pick up the Let's Play I was doing. I mean, I was just doing story mode, so I kind of finished that off. It looks like story mode's gonna get completely changed. I was having fun with it. It was cool, but that is it, folks. That is it. Until next time, this has been Channel GX. Take care of yourself and peace.